10 times more than that, right? Let's talk about the great breath. They call that the ha. You know, when we exchange the ha. Basically, when we exchange breath,
Can you just can you and your brother show them what the ha
Charles,
is?
you guys can do that. I can.
So because they
explain
can
that.
see, because it's so special.
Yeah. So it's about putting your forehead to forehead, your nose to nose, and you're exchanging your breath. And what that does, for me anyway, it allows you to become one with the person that you're doing that with. And as much as good things and bad things going on, it's equally passable too, right? And that is why too, when you go into spaces, you ask for permission to be in the space. But also when you're going into the space too, that you learn how to leave all your rubbish behind and you come in empty, the mind and the spirit, so that you can receive, right? So that's part of that process. You guys all saw that? Okay, so you know, Disney, I hate Disney. they just flip everything so bad, you know, so wrong too. Like it's so commercial, it's not even funny, you know. The on one of those shows, they did that piece, right? And to me, that's sacred. That shouldn't be. If you know it and you do it, then that's where that stays. It does not go commercially into Walmart so everybody get them. Whoever's there in the space at the moment, right time, right place, right people, is where it's supposed to stay. Even like the kind, not only the ha, but even your language, like if you're talking Tongan to another Tongan, that's where that stays. Talking Hawaiian, Olelo Hawaii to another Hawaiian, that's where you're talking Korean to another Korean. Can you speak Korean?
A little bit.
Okay, so just curious. And when you speak to your native tongue, that's between you and that person. That's how important that is. When we talk English is an international language that everybody kind of understands. That means, guess what? Everybody know your business. Right? Everybody know your business, and they shouldn't know your business, right? So the ha, in the process of being indigenous, is very, very important. And that's the exchange between you and that person. The lehua honors and adores. So the lehua is on the ohia trees. On the ohia trees, there's a red or a yellow flower that blooms certain times of the year. And basically, when they say honors and adores, it means honoring each other and adoring each other in not sexually or anything, but humanly, in a respective manner, right? Funny, long shoe story. We the men of Pa'a, all our men, they all tear it up. We all, tough, whatever, anything. So we go to an event in Hilo and we go help this health group put on this. It's called Ladies Night Out, and what it is basically the ladies get pampered. They have hair cutting, nails, pedicures, that kind of stuff, clothing, anything they got to do women's health, right? We come in there, we do hand and foot massages, us men. So we have like 10 of us on one table and then about 5 of us on the chairs. And so we go head massages and foot massages, right? And we're doing this for the women, right?
Line that out here.
So we're engaging the women, right? We're engaging the women. We're talking story. The women feeling comfortable around it. That's one thing I've learned. Is through our process, women has become okay with guys like us. The funny thing about that, they're asking, "Oh, why my husband ain't doing this? How come my husband?" Well, you better go make your husband do this, right? But we're doing it as on service. And there's all these other services there. True story. There's all these other services there. and we go there and we do our thing. Our line is the longest line over there. Because why? Because the part about honoring and adoring.
Right.
It's not sexual or that kind of stuff. It's just humanness. Being human.
Compassion.
Honoring each other as a person, as a child of God, right? So that's how that is. Obviously from zenith to horizon, from east to west, sun up to sundown, right? Right? So the important pieces of that is not when the sun rises or when the sun sets. You know where the important parts there? Is in between that. Why? Because a zillion stuff happens between the sun rising and the sun setting. This is where we gotta grow in this area. But not only in the light, but in the pole too, in the nighttime too. So we get 24 hours that we do that, right? 24 hours that we gotta be good. 24 hours that we gotta be humane to everybody. 24 hours we gotta do that, right? One day at a time, right? They say, right? Gratitude to a God. Being grateful for this understanding. If you was on atheist and what Aaron? So the agnostic is a part-time believer, right? The atheist is a full-time non-believer. They don't believe, right? So the agnostic, you can help sway them, but supposed to be the atheist, they just stick to their guns, right? And whatnot. So our job is to let it go. Who cares, right? As long as you believe, right? Gratitude for our ancestors. I am grateful because this art that we're doing right here was passed down through generations and generations until it got to my dad, and then my dad passed it on to my brother and I. And now we get to pass them down to our men that we work with, and now we get to pass this down to the community at large, right? And then of course they talk about with love, with aloha. Everything gotta be aloha. There's no such thing as nothing else except aloha. Everything gotta be aloha. There's 2 times when you gotta do aloha. When is that?
When you like and when you don't like.
There's 2 times when you gotta be grateful. When you like and when you don't like. Because there's a lot of times when we don't like to be grateful. You know why? Because we're human. We are God's children. That's why. There's no other reason, right? And everybody can come up with all this. Everybody get their right to their own opinions and everything. But most of the time, that's what an opinion is. Opinion is just like one asshole. Everybody get one, right? Right. So. Oh, you buggers laughing. You guys can relate. You guys can relate, eh? Right. So what I'm gonna do with this, and right after we're done with this, we learn it for a little bit. Right after we're done with this, we're gonna go ahead and start taking our food out. So I scheduled 12:30 for that. We're half hour away, or when we're done with this, we're gonna jam. Okay. So we.